bitches! Yeah! I got this to work! Woo! Okay.
Nice.
Okay, sorry.
Wow.
I'm not sure if you got yours working, but this actually, it saved it as a file. I'm so happy.
Hello? Does it work?
Hello.
Yes, it worked on my end. Yes.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome, ladies and germs, to the second episode of the Breakroom podcast, brought to you by Corp Productions.
The podcast that they tell us we should probably put a lot more effort, thought, and pre-planning into, but fuck those guys.
Okay, no, because all the effort and planning went into actually planning how to record this damn podcast, because we are having 3 separate issues technically right now.
Yeah.
No, it has actually been a real problem. See, normally what happens is I use my separate mic to record everyone, which is why Kelly and Skybolt usually sound quite tinny. That's not how I sound in real life. You're hearing it through my cell phone or through my speakers. Unfortunately, my dad is busy on a shoot in Cape Town, and he stole my speakers. My mic. So we had to come up with a brand new plan on the fly. This did not work well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are currently, if any of this actually gets recorded, which it should be, but, if it doesn't, you guys know why, or you wouldn't, because that's like Schrodinger's podcast, I guess. So Skybolt is trying something called MP3 Skype Recorder 4.28, which it seems very cheap, but it seemed effective based on my preliminary testing, so we'll see
Please
how this
sponsor
works.
us.
I remember.
MP3, whatever.
So, we're professional business horses, and this is how we do things.
We are so unbelievably professional. Okay, a dude pitched us a new audio drama series, and we were all sitting there around the round table being like, okay, so this has some merits, and this doesn't have some merits. Now, what do we think?
Yeah,
But I actually want a fucking board meeting, like a proper one, with actual tables.
Yeah, but see, the problem is, while you were doing that, I was celebrating my 21st birthday, so if I had come to the meeting, it wouldn't have been a productive meeting because I was incredibly drunk.
Yeah.
James got black with some white.
Oh, right. I was going to wonder what you were going to do for your birthday, but, getting drunk does sound like the good thing to do in that situation, especially because it's 21st.
With a whole bunch of film nerds, we spent like 6 hours just arguing about whether or not Christopher Nolan's real. So
what the heck does that mean? If Christopher Nolan's real, like he's just Jonathan Nolan with like a bald cap?
Okay, so that's actually a question. So no, we came to the realization that Christopher Nolan is actually Christopher Nolan is the filmmaker's equivalent of Santa Claus. Okay, he's not. He's actually all of the other filmmakers who every now and then give us the gift of a Nolan film. They all collaborate on it, and they don't tell us about it, even though we already know. He's basically Santa.
So he's like the opposite of that filmmaker name that directors use when they don't want their name put on a film?
Yes.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then Hans Zimmer, he's part of that collective. Just walks in and does the music.
Exactly. Wow, I can't believe I just said that.
I don't know if he does. I don't know if anyone's kind of really analysed his scores, but I've kind of got don't like them. Not that I don't like them, but they sound boring. Me and my parents are watching The Crown, and that has Hans Zimmer, I think, doing the score, and it just, and I was listening to Inception score, or something, like the big score, and that sounded pretty boring as well. And I was like, how is he
Isn't
top composer?
Isn't the score for Inception just a 20-minute?
Yeah, that's my opinion of it too, is Hans Zimmer gets 1 or 2 memorable sounds out of 60 minutes worth of bland, generic music, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
obviously
for
it fits
instance,
the
I
scene.
think one of his best pieces is actually from Interstellar, and it's basically just that one main theme with the heavy organ, and half of the reason it stands out is just because he uses that specific kind of organ, and you don't hear organ too much
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly anything too complex. I mean, like, I get quite chuffed myself when I write something that changes key signature like halfway through the song, but you don't actually notice it changing key signature. Like, that's something complex and intriguing, or using complicated time signatures. And yeah, you know, and then everyone just falls into this pitfall of I think it's template music, where basically the director just goes, "I want it to sound like this," and then the composer just makes it sound like that, and then everyone does that. So everyone just has the same sounding music. So you know, pretty shit.
That guy who runs that channel, Every Frame of Painting, did a piece on that. On that same thing. Marvel does it a shitload.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Oh, man.
I don't know. Should we? Actually, wait. You know what?
I can do it salt-free, or, like, low sodium, if you would like.
Bro, we've thrown so much salt DC's way for the podcast.
Yeah, I can throw some shade toward Marvel. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's throw some shade toward Marvel. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's shit on Marvel.
Okay, that is actually one of my biggest complaints about the specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is its music is so bland and forgettable. I could not hum you a single tune from any of the 15 movies. Not a single tune. The only thing I watched Doctor Strange, and Michael Giacchino did that music, and you can tell a little bit of harpsichord that he threw in just because magic and magician, whatever. And that's the only thing that was recognizable, because it was the only thing that actually was different than any of the other Marvel music. It's all so generic, except for the one where they used the Volume 1 soundtrack of Guardians of the Galaxy, which was very apt on his part. And I think half the reason that movie is memorable.
Oh, it's Guardians 1 soundtrack and the Iron Man 1 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Basically all the licensed music.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Iron Man 1 was the Back in Black and the Iron Man, obviously, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Fuck. I do get annoyed with that kind of thing, but at the same time, like, even if you try and be different, I don't think people want different. That's kind of like the problem. Like, if let's say you put in like a complex time signature, all of a sudden the 90% of the audience go, "What the fuck's going on with the music?" Right? Which would just completely throw you off the movie. There has to be subtle, but then you get people like us sitting on a podcast going, "For fuck's sake," you know, like, it's, you know, probably the composers hate what they write sometimes. I would, if I had to do that.
See, I'm not really that way. I'm the kind of guy where I want the music to kind of, like, not take the reins per se, but I want music to be one of the leading horses of the pack, so to speak. It's like, think of anything with John Williams. Like, his music always takes center stage because it's so, you know, encapsulating in that sense. Yeah. And ironically, John Carpenter, one of the most famous directors who also writes his own music, even though he always said his music was just wallpaper, it was just part of the set dressing, it always had a certain quality to it of rising above, and I think that's just because it's, you know, he's the director and the composer in that sense, where the music really feels fully diegetic, fully in sync with everything, rather than, you know, like with Star Wars, where you send someone a cut and then he does the composition at the end.
A really, really good example of where the music sort of fits in so nicely with the film is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Aside from the really big boisterous pieces of them, just running around New Zealand with the theme playing, there are some really nice moments where the music's just sitting in the background. It's not, and like you said, it's wallpaper, but it's adding so much more to the scene. Like, if it had been done with literally any other track than what they've chosen to use, it wouldn't have been as powerful.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's one of Howard Shore's best like virtues as a composer is his music seems to like it comes from the movie itself. Obviously, like it flows out of the concept of the movie, but it also like strengthens it. It gives it the proper depth that a soundtrack should. Like Marvel movie music is literally just it's there because it has to be there. It serves nothing beyond that. Whereas Howard Shore, it's like the music it adds that extra detail and color to, you know, the movie as a whole.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And also
Kelly and I
composing
we're very in keeping with our musical our positions, especially now at East Corp. Kelly is our lead composer, and I'm taking more of a backseat as music producer, director, whatever guy. Because he knows what he's doing. I obviously don't. I really don't.
Skyball, you're fired. You're fired, Skyball.
I have fired myself from that position.
Yeah, we don't fucking need you. You know, our meeting we had yesterday, our fucking company meeting, we were already talking about overthrowing you. You know, it's mutiny from the bottom.
No, I know. No, he's unstoppable. And no, because I was gone for the last 2 weeks because I had so many family things to deal with. So that is why I'm so glad to be back and doing a podcast, because we have unstoppable content.
I love doing the Austin. Oh my god. Just the projects that we have planned for the future. Skyball teased one on the Facebook page, which I'm all for.
It's a lot of fun stuff in the making. We're basically like, we really want to be a good collective of writers and creators, and it just like, you know, make things that then come to fruition. That's like, I know for James and me, this has always been one of our biggest deals is we only want to start a project if we can see the end flag. We can see that final goal to be able to reach it and produce it and make sure everyone gets that success and that fulfillment, because that can be so frustrating for, especially, you know, in strictest terms, we're all amateurs in the sense that we're not like, you know, this isn't our livelihood per se. It's just our passion, and that's awesome. But it's like part of that passion is having the success. It's having the, you know, the public response, you know, ideally that they love your thing and they, you know, start downloading it and sharing it. And that's what we want to make sure everyone who works with us gets.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, it's connecting people with like on an emotional level, because I know like a lot of artists, it's obviously you do this. It's obviously you expend your emotional energy to create this thing, and then you want someone else to connect with you emotionally. It's sort of like without even talking to that person or meeting that person, you just have this shared bond of I've just produced this and you like it, you know. And it's fucking hell, it's kind of gay, but you know, it's rather beautiful to have that, you know. Friendship and rainbows and all that. Fuck.
It's okay. Yeah, no, we can be a little bit, you know, spawning for the brony community. We'd be a little bit, what is that, new sincerity movement? Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, we like this, you know, it's okay to like. So.
Yeah, go on.
Speaking of new projects, I'm curious. Since we're really close to putting out the audition video, can we talk about the new project yet?
I think, yeah, we've hinted enough that I think we could probably announce it.
I think there's no reason to not talk about what we're doing, because this isn't a secret organization. It's like, you know, we're just sitting on a podcast, like, you know, just being out there. We fucking say what we want, you know.
Yeah.
Why not just, you know, and it rewards people. You know, if you're listening to this and you go, oh, fuck, I know something that someone else doesn't, you know, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Plus, I like the teases in the podcast because it'll make people listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
You're the special group. You're the P1 listeners who actually tune into our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You're the best.
So we're reviving a very old project that we've been doing for a while. We're doing the Wasteland Survival Guide.
Woo! Yes.
So excited.
Yeah, so this is something, again, we talked about and we proposed to Stable Tech in spring of 2014, 2.5 years ago. And we thought it was something so simple because it's like, okay, we already had like 4 or 5 episodes of the quote-unquote animated series written. And so it's like, hey, we should keep the writers busy with something neat. And so this was at the time I was writing Confessions just of my own sake. And I'm like, oh, we could use Confessions and keep the voice actors busy. And so the idea of the Wasteland Survival Guide was going to be write a chapter and release a chapter every week or 2 weeks or something like that on the website. And so, everyone knows how that went. And so now what we are doing, James and I are heading it up, the project, but, we hope to bring in more writers and stuff soon. We are going to be releasing our Wasteland Survival Guide as little 2 to 3 minute videos where we're going to have our beloved Ditsy Doo reading the chapters in her head, obviously, and but she'll be reading the chapters out loud as she finishes them, and basically it's going to be great. So we're going to keep things mixed up. It's not going to be like, 4 months of just weapons or 4 months of just, monsters. It's going to be all over the place. And then, yeah, it'll be fun little short videos that you can enjoy and we can enjoy. And then at the end, it will all collect together into a beautiful, functional Wasteland Survival Guide.
Exactly. So as Skeleton, we're not going to be telling the story of the Wasteland Survival Guide in order, because then we would have to do, all of this topic and all of this topic, and that would be kind of dull. We're also taking a few other liberties in how we do it. So we're taking an opportunity to do a lot of world building as well. So our version of the Wasteland Survival Guide isn't just a survival guide. It's also
kind of a diary.
This is what. It's kind of like a diary, and it's kind of like this is what Equestria is now. So there'll be a chapter just on a specific raider gang in an area, and it'll tell you how to deal with them and how to survive them and how to trade with them. But it's less of, but that's more of a world building, more of a. This is an interesting feature of what post-apocalyptia is now, which is what we're so excited to put together.
And it's going to be really adorable because it's all going to be from the perspective of our nuclear derp horse, our flying nuclear derp horse.
Yeah. But cough, cough, Amoria's loins, or is it groins? So we all have that to look forward to. And trust me, it isn't just about Amoria's loins. It does actually go in depth about like a huge story about it, but yeah, you guys have got some good shit already down.
I'm pretty sure we need to release Amoria's Loins as one of the first episodes.
Yeah.
Well,
just hook everyone straight away with the loins.
You think we'd buy a dinner first?
We do need auditions. We will be putting out an official audition video very soon, but if you are listening to the podcast, you can get a jump on all the other auditioners by sending us an email. Please, when you send us your emails, this is really important, guys. If you send an application, please attach in the first email you send your voice reel or your artwork or your writing or something, because we get a lot of messages apply, but they don't send us examples of their work.
Yeah, we need some kind of CV or resume type thingy. And so specifically with Ditsy Doo, Derpy, we will put out an audition video to let everyone know what we're looking for and what we're going for, and it's going to be pretty stereotypical in the sense that we're going to go for the original, like, Derpy, very, very bubbly, very naive kind of voice and perspective on things, but I think it's going to be really cute. Or what we're looking for is someone really cute, and it's going to be fairly simple, too. I mean, these chapters are only like 1 or 2 like single space pages each, so it's like a single 3 or 4 minute video twice a month or every 2 weeks or something like that. So for the VA, we think it'd be really fun for her, and really, really neat for everyone else to listen to.
I think that'll also be quite nice, is that we'll be able to give you guys some really, really regular scheduled content,
Yes.
as opposed to, the rest of East Corp is a case of we release it when it's ready.
Yes.
But this will be kind of different.
We'll release it when it's ready, but it is in the oven. It's coming. Absolutely. It's not, in indeterminate dormancy.
Yeah. But speaking of new projects as well, I'll just butt in here as the head of music or whatever.
Do it.
But I don't want to say the name of it, just to tease it a little bit more for a bit longer. But we are
Tease it. Just the tease.
we are in the current production of a symphonic metal album. Okay. Now, about what universe or story you'll never guess. Fall out of Equestria studio. But we are starting to build something. We currently have one member, other than me, in our music department. Skybolt will be doing the lyrics as well.
Oh, yes.
So that would be good. But yeah, that I just want to throw that in there because we'll probably tease it soon. When I'm happy with one of the songs, we'll demo it out and be like, oh, look at this. What might it be? And you can listen to the awesome and me playing guitar, which isn't actually good.
That's right.
No, it's all right. It won't be shit. I promise. It won't be shit. Yeah.
It won't be shit. First pre-production meeting for that specific project, which was just so exciting.
Really, so many things in the making. It's like, it is insane. And it's like, Terminal Secrets, episode 1 through 3 are being prepped for re-release or release on the East Corp channel. And I can hopefully finally get back to Confessions 5 now that I'm done with all the freaking dead family member dealings. So, yeah, we're working on all of it. We swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah, we promise.
I've been meaning to finish writing Terminal Secrets episode 5 now, I've also hit my fucking final exams for film school, and final exams in film school means you don't write a paper, it means you got to make a film. And I've got 2 films to make, one animation and one live action, and it's just horrible.
Wow. Why are you having final exams in the middle of the year? Or the school year, the middle of the school year?
This isn't... South African schools run parallel to the calendar year.
Oh, that's actually... Wow, okay. That is something I did not know.
You have to remember that they're in Upside Down Land, too, in their own way.
Yeah.
Upside Down Land, our way makes so much more sense. We run parallel to the year. Your guys are like, hey, let's just cut one half. Let's put the beginning at the end of the year, and then at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but we get summer holidays and stuff where it's actually 6 weeks off and it's sunny and sometimes warm because it's Britain, and that is nice, right? Okay, who wants to have at the end of the year off you pop into winter? Yay! That's not that good.
We also have summer holidays. It's called Christmas.
Yeah, again, Upside Down Land.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What? In the middle of the year?
For us in the U.S., it's frustrating because our cycle always is technically out of sync with the season. So it's like we would finish our school year around the end of May, our Memorial Day, because that's become the new stereotype is summer is Memorial Day to Labor Day. But summer itself doesn't start until the end of June. So it's like we still have a little bit of spring, and depending on where you live, that could be nice weather, or it could be horrible, humid, rainy, or snowy weather. And so luckily in California, we don't really have seasons, so it doesn't matter. But elsewhere in the U.S., it's very frustrating.
Yeah, but you guys get spring break, which is hugely famous and apparently awesome.
Yeah, it's complicated. Spring break originally was Easter holiday, and then we can't do that anymore. And so now it's become go to Florida or South Texas and get drunk and have a lot of regrettable sex, and yeah, it's. But of course, for me, I sit down and I make freaking horse music, or write, or freaking play Fallout the entire time. I spent. All right, let me think about this. So my first year in college, New Vegas wasn't out yet, so I spent it playing Fallout 3, and then the second year in college was New Vegas, and yeah, that's pretty much how I spent college.
Wow. Oh my god. Oh, wait, college for you is our uni, right? But why only 2 years?
I should say university.
Yeah, but only 2 years.
No, 4 years for us, unfortunately.
Oh, right.
That's the thing I hate most about the American system is that general education in American universities is almost completely pointless. It's like 5 of the 12, 15 classes I had to take were at least interesting. It was like Western civilization, or like an art class, or like a government class. Things that were at least interesting, but all the rest of it was, you need to do this for credits because we need the monies.
Yeah. Well, we recently, our college just decided to get too many students that they can actually hold and just make the timetable work. But it was only for like the money's sake. They just went, let's bring in loads of students so we have loads of money. Yay! And now like the entire hall is just like filled with people every single day. But it's alright if you hide in music like me, which is literally like by the main door. You just walk in, hide in music, and walk back out. It's great. I don't have to talk to anyone.
Nice.
I don't have to see anyone. That's it.
I don't like the outernet.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, so you guys have so much you need to do for university. I'm starting second year next year. Do you know how many subjects I have?
Probably it's all art, right? It's all the film classes?
2. I have 2 subjects.
2. Wait,
Oh,
I'm getting like so confused because like when I go to uni, you only like take 1 course kind of thing, or like you take 2, but then you're like going to be cramped for time. I don't get like how you guys have like so much time and shit.
Well, so I'm not going to a regular university. I'm going to a film school. It's
Right.
they don't necessarily do. You don't take like a course which then has all the little subjects and then all the other subjects you got to do for credit. It's you go in, you do your subjects, your 8 subjects in first year, but then you choose your 2 subjects that you'll take to second and third year. So for me, it's writing and animation directing.
Huh.
Okay.
God, your guys' system is like weird. Like I had tons of lessons in secondary school like 2 years ago now, and I only take 2 lessons right now, and I have 3. And I'm in college, and I was before uni kind of thing. Like, that is weird. Like I kind of feel bad for you because I get to not do a lot, and could just chill out, do music, come home and do music. So I've got the good life here. Come to Britain, everyone. By the way, I will happily welcome you in because I don't actually know like any bronies in my area, so I'm very lonely.
Oh, dude, that's the eternal issue.
Yeah, and it's very hard to go. Anyone else a brony? And then it's like, it's not good. I did actually, when I first joined, I played Discord on guitar, just because I thought no one would know it if they weren't a brony, but if they did, I just made a friend. But no one actually knew.
I've done that before too. Yeah, no, that's great. It's like a secret handshake.
Yeah, exactly. No one actually noticed. I was like, for fuck's sake. So oh shit. That's been my story of just like anyone else. Like the weird shit that I do. I did find someone that likes Ruby though, which is good. So I'm quite happy with that. And we can just talk about all the greatness of that. But no one. Same.
I met plenty of people at school at uni who they're big Ruby fans. In fact, so big, not big enough that they have a Rooster Teeth first account, so they siphon off of mine. They stole my account.
Oh, okay.
My password and username to get in, but like they're big Ruby fans, and eventually it was sort of the one point where I was like, I brought my hard drive. Okay, you guys are big Ruby fans. Here, this is called Red versus Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking mind.
All I should
The thing
mention this because I'm not sure how many people have noticed it yet, but there is a Rooster Teeth first app on Xbox One now. And so I was able to pull that up and watch the new World of Remnant, which was great. So any ex-boners out there, just FYI.
Oh yeah, but like with the storytelling part of it, like don't you just get like really annoyed when it's just halfway through a season or fucking like 3 episodes in, and then I was just waiting, I was hyped for the next episode, and then they go, "Here's some lore that you don't really need to know." And it's like,
oh god, yes,
great.
They did it with Red versus Blue as well. When you had PSA week.
Oh no, kidding!
Yeah.
It was like that groan from the audience. They're like, "Oh, you motherfuckers! These are funny, but."
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. I think they do it just because this week was their extra live stream, which is when they announced that Ruby herself is going to have an extra life soon. Lindsay Jones is pregnant.
Oh shit!
Woo!
Yeah.
Lindsay. Wow.
And so in the Facebook fan group that I'm following, now there's a whole bunch of fan art coming out of Sun and Ruby pregnant shipping art. And I'm like, oh god, here it goes. 9 months.
That's so not right. Like, it's okay, fine. It's all right now because Ruby in the show is now about 16 years old. But but remember, seasons 1 through 3, she was 15 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Please tell me. Okay, so Skyvault. If East Corp ever does an origin, or I mean, obviously, you know, if we ever do an origin story for Homage, I think you'll fucked up enough.
Horse ears are different.
Write that shit.
Horse ears are different. But no, I believe we laid out in the canonicity that well, we didn't. We tried to make it vague enough because I don't want to trample on canon as much. I'm just trying with all my might to stay in line with the original story, and so we never specify exact ages. But Amber was roughly 18 when she showed up at the tower, so that's that canonicity.
Just playing it safe.
Yeah, we have some form of canon.
We have some form of canon, yes.
Well, our entire studio is technically in canon. Somehow.
Yes, no, we are doing everything in our power to stay in canon with the original, and then everything within the studio is going to stay linked up together. That's the general idea. General idea.
Yeah.
However, I will still say that Project Horizon is a good story, and our new music guy also thinks it's a good story, so...
No, I agree. It is a good story. I just haven't read all of it, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it'd be too hard to try to stay in sync with it, too. So that's what's going on there.
We got all the business shit. Yeah.
That was really glitchy.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I'm very uncomfortable. As is now apparently podcast tradition, I'm sitting propped up against my kitchen wall with my legs by my fridge, and I'm sitting on my kitchen sink.
Oh yeah. And you see, I'm dealing with a partial outage by Comcast, one of the most evil technology companies in existence, which for whatever reason in Silicon Valley, I'm riding on 3 megabits per second, like Australia tier internet.
Which is funny, because I live in South Africa, and I have 17 megabits per second. This is odd. Okay, so we got fiber installed recently, and I've got 21 megabits per second up and 17 down. Someone explain that shit to me. Why is my up faster than my down?
I never understood that either. I had that in Virginia a lot. Virginia, I had frickin' beautiful god tier Verizon FiOS internet, which was just not a single problem. I literally flipped on the switch and it just worked for 18 straight months. And now I'm back to frickin' Comcast, which I hate with fiery passion, so... Anyway, what about you, Kelly? I'm sure you're south of England, right? Or south of London?
Yeah. I'm above Isle of Wight. I won't disclose exactly
No, of course
where
not. Of
I
course
live. I'm above the Isle of Wight, which is very south, west of the south, almost as south as you can go. It's okay. Like I think it. Well, the tests say it's really good. Then you try and like download anything. Well, actually, no, it's more that my dad plays Xbox like online a lot, and it's normally at the same time that I'm trying to download like a gig of audio or something to do work on or something,
not.
or upload like half a gig of shit just for the studio. And then I get my dad go, "What the fuck are you doing up there?" And it's like, "I'm just trying to do more work." And he's like, "Well, stop doing your work. Do it tomorrow." And I'm like, "For fuck's sake, yeah." So
That sounds like a fun
that's
dad.
my story. He is all right. I mean,
He's all right.
yeah, he's all right. I mean, we've had our fallings out, but I've got him on my side. I've there was a long time ago that I told him I was a brony, so we got that awkwardness out the way
Yep.
a while ago. And yeah, we both like games, so we're all set, which is fucking good.
No, I know. It's
sorry, come on.
that's the way the world is now. It's like I wish desperately wish for the age when we finally have like South Korea and Japan tier internet, because they all have like 1 gigabit per second like standard, like no problems whatsoever.
Yeah. But it's for a business way. If you slowly increase the internet speed and up the prices every single time, well, you've just forked out you get tons of money from the business side.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, like if you're working for those companies or whatever.
See, the UK did something, and I believe I have this right here. I think it was one British telecom where basically they had a project of scrapping all of the copper lines in like data-related lines and replacing it with fiber, and then they sold the scrap copper to pay for the whole project.
Wow,
that is what I read once anyway.
I know that they're clearing like tons of channels or something, or old like television shit that used to be used, and that's where we get all like our 4G and stuff, which annoyingly is better than my Wi-Fi most of the time, but obviously it costs money. So and then also because I'm not over 18, I can't go on like comics reason,
yeah,
because it's apparently mature content.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so you can't open the comic or anything that's anything over 18 because the internet shit, or you get on it because of 4G, and it's so fucking annoying. Really, it really is.
I remember as a teenager, whenever that would come up, and you felt like such a rebel pressing "Yes, I'm 18," and you're not quite 18 yet.
Yeah, we've got to put in our credit cards. I mean, debit card.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but obviously on my debit card, I'm not 18, so it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Like I'm so close, like really close. It's like our laws in here, talking about some sexy time.
Sexy time.
But like we can have sex at 16, and then we can't watch porn at 8 until 18. So it's and it just does not make sense,
it's
right?
It's a bit backwards, yeah.
It's really backwards. Like there's so much shit that you can do. Like I think you can, you can buy alcohol before you can like buy cigarettes or whatever, but both are gonna like give you shit for drinking it or smoking it, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, see, that's why I always assume the rest of the world is better than us in that sense. Like we have the drinking age of 21 here, and in Russia, I think it's 10 or something.
Yeah, it's fucking young.
But in Russia, if you don't drink vodka, you can't stay alive because of the biting snow. I just saw a video of it's like current whiteout conditions in St. Petersburg. It's not even winter; it's barely fall, and they're like, it's completely like doomsday, like Fallout Frost conditions right now.
Oh, God. I would be able to live in somewhere like that because I'm cold like in the summer, I would just be so screwed over there.
Oh, dude, I'm
You know.
such a sissy when it comes to snow. It's like I'm total summer born. Like California, Sacramento Valley. It's like any amount of snow like bothers me. It's like it's cold to my bones. And then I've got my parents who were both born in freaking North Dakota and from Wisconsin, so all the like biting cold of our Great Lakes and like the cold frozen north, and so they're totally fine. And I'm like, I didn't ask to be born here. You guys, don't blame me. Oh my gosh, the wars for the AC and heat were endless when I was growing up.
Wow. At least you guys had the AC, because like we don't, because it's we just have fans, the nice good old British fans, and you guys just have like an entire ventilation systems and shit, and like or like your houses have things under it where you can crawl, and it's just like, like seriously, like America is really fucking cool, and Britain is cold and boring.
And
man.
South Africa is just fucked in general.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Yeah, what's going on there? I know it's having its own interest. Or anyway, what was I saying? No. Sorry, that we're doing everything in our power. We don't want our podcast to ever like remind you of the real world, because that's always frustrating. So we're gonna go back to talking about bitching about horses and stuff.
Exactly. Let's bitch about. Let's bitch about. Oh shit! Here's some horses that we don't need to bitch about, because this is fucking excellent. We're kind of obliged to talk about the moon rises, so we should probably do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the new. They finished the animation, right?
Yeah,
Oh my
they finished
goodness.
it.
And it's pretty fucking epic. I mean, like it's not quite as good as Lullaby for a Princess, but I'd argue that the animation for Children of the Night was better, but the animation style oh god, it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I mean, they used fucking hell, what is it? Boom thing or whatever. Boom, yeah, and that's what the MLP movies going to be using as well, isn't it? And to be honest, like if the actual film has like puppets kind of looking like that, I will be pretty darn chuffed. Because they look so good.
I'd love to see backgrounds looking like that. Like, how beautiful were those painted backgrounds?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, they did really well. I mean, like what I was surprised about was like there wasn't actually that many people working on it, which is what I always.
No,
yeah,
doing a cartoon is like,
that's...
as far as I know, it's like a husband and wife, and then some other people that help, right?
Yeah, and just a few people. Like, I mean, like the credits, it was like, oh yeah, thanks Bloody Blah for doing the backgrounds, thanks Bloody Blah for doing, effects or something, and that was it. And then it's just like, and then we just watched the crumbling stable tech, and we're like, what? Why does it take so long? And obviously, I don't understand animation.
No,
but,
exactly.
It's
like it's so surprising seeing animation get finished and released.
Yeah.
Right?
Like anime, it just looks like someone's doing it right and someone's not doing it right, and it's
I'm excited to see the other project that Duo Cartoonists are working on with the choices.
What now?
Minus the song they put up. Choices. It's the next Duo Cartoonist project.
Oh, okay.
Where they put up a song where it's it's Luna has gotten sick and Celestia Discord has been like, okay, cool, I need you to heal Luna, and Discord's like, okay, cool, but I'm gonna sing a musical number and explain to you why, like the terms. You assign this scroll to give me some shit that you don't know what it is. I'll make sure that you're both. And the song is very, very kind of like For Unfortunate Souls.
Oh, okay.
But the Discord impersonator they got is fucking excellent. Like he's really good.
Yeah, no,
I mean, like,
I'm desperately waiting too. There's this one guy who was doing an animation of one of the songs from Moonrise, the symphonic metal opera that I wrote.
really?
And he did this animatic, which is amazing. And there's some animated bits that are amazing, but he hasn't quite finished. Well, he's only doing the one song, Harmony, the second song, the second bit, but he hasn't finished it yet, and I'm not sure if he's ever going to finish it, but I so desperately want to see it finished.
Do you have a link to the video?
Yes, let me see. He's got an animatic, and then he had an update about why things are taking long. Let me see here.
We should put a link to that in.
Yeah, we'll have like a link up of sorts in the description.
Although if animators really want to, if animators wants to do to animate anything from either Moonrise or Fall of the Empire, my personal suggestion would be do Kingdoms Divided.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Like I still Welcome to the Empire is the best song on that track on that thing, but oh my God, Kingdoms Divided is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, no, we were really happy with that. Like, it's it's like the chorus got written first. That's where the name came from. But yeah, it really pulled together because the whole idea behind Kingdoms Divided is it's basically moral relativism. The song. It's that you can see like all of them from their own perspectives. You know, whether tainted or colored by their own biases. All saw the situation from a different angle, which I thought gave it a little bit more depth rather than being strictly, you know, absolute villain, absolute good person, etc.
Yeah, and it also stands as a really, really good contrast to Welcome to the Empire.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of similarities there in the structure. You know, it's a bit like you go from Luna to Celestia to Sombra to the chorus, which is the exact same. I think that's the same structure as Kingdoms, as Welcome to the Empire. So it stands as a really good juxtaposition. But also, there's just that very specifically the line about Sombra saying, "No, I'm waging war against divinity," and that's a really, really, really good line. Because it's pretty fucking solid.
Yeah, so it's I tried to do as many like callbacks and really like, you know, put my full writing chops into the story, and then L Train of course did a lot of great musical cues and callbacks too. So yeah.
Oh God, yes, yeah, you can hear it all over.
It was a good time. I actually re-listened to it the last time I drove up to Sacramento to visit family, and yeah, it was it turned out pretty well. It was fun times, which is why all
really
of you
good.
should spam the L Train and tell him that we should make another one, because I'm waiting on that right now. Basically, he's like, okay, this is done. We're not going to talk about it until the end of the year now, you know, if we do another one. And I would love to do another something. I told him, too, I actually pitched him an idea for a non-pony thing if he wanted to get away from that I think is really good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know I'll be, when I'm writing our symphonic metal, I'll be making sure it's as awesome as...
Oh, no,
the
of course.
L-Train
No, we have that to work
shit,
on
you know.
for sure, too.
Oh, man. Yeah. But I mean, it's something to live up to be honest.
Yeah, it's
It's sort of like the what's the like the thing like you aspire to, like the I don't know what the fucking word is, but yeah, you know, like the sort of the top grade you're trying to get or something. Oh my God, I can't think of the word.
Excellent.
Fuck. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's just sort of like the pinnacle of symphonic metal in the fandom.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if we're anywhere near as good as that, then we're okay, kind of thing. You know?
Well, you've got half the team anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I wish it got more recognized too. I think you know, too often the you know, electronic stuff became like the staple for a while, and it's like that is good in its own ways, but I felt like we really I felt like we really brought something next level to the production as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. But in a random change of direction, have either of you played, I don't know, Glimmer Betties, or whatever the new thing that's just popped up on Equestria Daily, where you can hug someone like Glimmer?
No.
Oh,
No?
I still haven't had a chance to play that yet.
It's so fucking cute.
Oh.
Like, honestly, I was like walking to college, and I was like, I have a feeling I'm going to be playing this every day just because it will stave off loneliness. Just because it is that cute.
It sounds like maximum sugar right there.
It honestly is. Like, it will give you diabetes. You know, and then now there was like more sound effects apart from just like her turning on her magic or whatever, you know. But yeah, I did manage to get her to give me a hug, which I was quite chuffed with.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah.
James
just
got
a fictional character to hug me. That's normally what happens in my dreams, not in real life, you know. So that was a good morning. I'm just saying, that was a very good morning.
That's why we gotta push forward genetic engineering. We gotta make ponies real.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, honestly, if I die, that is literally where I want to go. If there's multiple universes, I'm heading straight over to Equestria and just living out my days as a masseuse.
Oh, absolutely. That's like personal heaven theory, where it's like everyone. It's just basically whatever's heaven for you. It's that would be great.
It's just so relaxing. Like, imagine like your day job is just
making clouds and stuff.
Yeah, just like pet ponies, and then you just go home, and then you just go make music, and you could make whatever music you wanted.
That's right. Because
you'd have tons of our world music, and you could just make it again, and no one can copyright you or sue you for it, and you'd be like, oh, here's some music from, just my brain. I came up with all of this.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Copyright law is vastly overwritten, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys heard James Arthur, and he just came out with a song, some love song, and it is like this. It's not. It's like as like a musician, you kind of get really pissed off with the similarities, but like loads of people are like, oh no, they're two different songs. It's basically the scripts, the man who won't be moved, and his song. Like I'll put a link, okay, to you guys. And
yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know this.
Oh fuck! Well, you don't need to know the song. Just I need to know that I'm not the only one, because like it just pisses me off, like how similar it is. You know? Sorry, it's just like music and noises. Like I literally just did an essay on music copyright and this shit, and how similar songs sound and people getting ripped off for it. And it's like, yeah. Right. Fuck, I've just got salty into the first podcast.
That's okay. Everyone gets salty sometimes, Mr. Kelly. Everyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Have you listened to the podcast? I mean, seriously.
That's true.
It's just a non-stop salt train with us.
Yeah, it's like now the podcast is on age to compete with the salt. Well, it's funny now relative to the rest of the world. The podcast isn't that salty now, is it?
That's true. I mean, I'm surprised like our comment section isn't just like "fuck you," I love DC movies or something.
Well, you know what's funny? You guys all heard that, but we never released the DC podcast. Like, I was so proud of how much I articulated my hatred of the DC extended universe, and no, never released it.
We need to just do a one-off for that.
Well, yeah, no, so maybe we'll delete. We'll put it out as like a podcast behind the scenes thing of that one podcast that only half of the episode got recorded, and literally the only half that was recorded was Skype bitching.
It was so great. Suicide. This is my favorite podcast.
Okay, I mean
that was most Tech meetings. That was just you rock up, and it's like, oh yeah, do you watch this movie? Oh fuck, and into the soul. That was our meetings, like so long.
Well, I'm waiting for Wonder Woman because at least going back to our musical discussion, that's something DC has been better at, is at least their music is a little bit more memorable. And so, like, for instance, they had Junkie XL, Tom Holden Karkenberg, something. And, yeah, and so, like, the Wonder Woman riff was, like, the only piece of music that anyone ever remembered from the Batman vs. Superman movie. Dawn of Just Us. And so,
Dawn of Just Us. Is that actually the title of the thing?
So him doing the Wonder Woman music by himself, I think, is for the best, because it's like Mad Max Fury Road. Like, that was awesome.
Oh God, yes.
So
much of Mad Max Fury Road was awesome, especially all the parts that were led by South Africans.
Yeah. Well, didn't they record the whole thing in Nigeria or something? All the deserty stuff?
No, Namibia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had so many South Africans on crew. I met like the head of the mask department, I think a few months ago. She was very nice.
Nice.
Right.
That's good.
I immediately I immediately started sending over all of her on how to create apocalypse costumes to all of the Fallout Equestria studios I was working with at the time. Like, hey, this is the process they went through, the mindset of creating the costumes for Mad Max. She built Bane's mask. Not Bane. Why did I say Bane? Fucking Immortal Joe. She built his mask. All by her lonesome.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Right?
Really, like, just bottom to top production design on it was perfect. I mean, it's almost like the penultimate, like, post-apocalyptic movie. It's everything the other Mad Maxes was building toward.
It was such a fantastic movie. It really was. Oh my God, that editing and the action and...
I love the use of color. I love that hyper-saturated, like, colored look, personally, because I'm so sick of every movie now being, like, shades of gray, so to speak.
Yes! Oh my God! This is the thing that pisses me off so much. Like, seriously, a monkey could be the color grader over at DC now, because all they have to do is take every shot and make it fucking gray and fucking, like, lower the brightness, because fuck, be looking bright and happy. Why the fuck do people think that this is good filmmaking?
That's right.
One color is how you make a film. I just don't understand this. Color is so important to film. If you want to make a film that is dark and grey, then stop shooting in color and go back to making fucking black and white films. Oh my fucking Christ.
And here's the problem that DC can't escape from. It's like, if you want to have that gritty, edgy, super edgy teenage Zack Snyder look to your films, then when you have the color, it's got to be well applied. And the problem with Batman vs. Superman specifically was that the color was just that generic-y orange of, Monster Mash, and then generic-y blue of, like, the lightning and stuff, and really all of it looked out of focus to me, too. It's like, or it's like the Suicide Squad Death Weapon. It's generic-y blue and orange. It's like, no. There's other colors that exist. That's like, the best thing about Suicide Squad was the album that was completely, barely connected to the movie. It's just, collected together by famous artists. And then the marketing, which was actually like, I wish the whole movie had that kind of vibrancy and color.
Right. But see, even Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad didn't work well. Like, Suicide Squad would have been fantastic if they'd gone with something like, I almost want to say, an early Fallout show of just that level of absurdity against what is a very serious backdrop. That's something that I don't see done very often, and that Suicide Squad had the perfect opportunity to do, of being this very serious story, very serious characters, except for the Suicide Squad themselves, who have not an ounce of seriousness in them whatsoever. It's like the same Negan is so goddamn fantastic on The Walking Dead because he feels like he's a comic book character. He's not serious at all. He's all like, "Hey, I've prepared this speech. I'm gonna crack a few jokes, beat the shit out of all of you. You know, I'm happy. I'm excited. I love the apocalypse. Make more characters like that, please."
Well, it's like really DC's main problem is that all of their intelligent writers are working in the animation division. So it's like if the Suicide Squad movie in any way resembled the Batman Assault on Arkham movie, it would have been a great movie because that was actually thought out by actual writers before they actually made the damn thing. Seriously, I mean, I am kind of a Bruce Timm like acolyte, obviously, because I grew up with the Batman animated series from the 90s. But it's like the reason they made so many successful DC extended universe animation productions is because they knew what the fuck they were doing. And so it's like that's why Batman Beyond, besides sounding like a weird fan fiction on paper, was so well executed because they actually thought it out about like, okay, Batman does have to get old one day. What would he do? Would he pass on his tray? You know, what would convince him to create a new Batman, not just another Robin to die at the hands of a villain or something?
They make a Lego movie. That's what they do.
That's right.
Oh my god,
the most successful DC film in fucking 5 years is going to be Lego Batman.
Lego Batman looks so fucking fantastic, though. It really does.
Oh man,
I'd have to disagree with you. I wasn't too impressed with the trailer I saw. It was sort of a bit like, really? It felt like they were stretching it. It felt like they had the idea for money rather than an idea.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, it's going to be a total failure.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lego movies, so I saw that they were doing Lego Movie 2, but then I saw who the fucking writers are. So aside from the original writers from the Lego Movie, they also have included the writer for the second draft is fucking Raphael Bob Waxberg, who you might know as the guy who's the showrunner for fucking BoJack Horseman.
Oh, that's
wow.
a good sign.
Yeah.
Right? Who, like, that show has probably had some of the funniest and also saddest comedy of the last 3 years.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that probably has potential then.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree. But I mean, at the same time, it's also like if you have an idea, it's not just having the idea; it's the execution of it. You know,
that is.
I think that's the problem. I mean, I think it's more like in games, whatever. Like everyone has a good game idea, but it's just about making it. But it's kind of true for everything else. Like, we've all got that awesome idea. It's just if you're not good at actually making it, it's shit. No one's going to care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that really, really important first step that a lot of creators seem to miss, which is unfortunate. And I would encourage more people to do it. Is to take that first step and create something. If you have that idea, do it. I know I'm sounding like Shia LaBeouf here, but seriously, it's.
No, I mean it's just like everything else. Like think of circling back. Think of the Star Wars prequels. It's like the general ideas of the Star Wars prequels are interesting. They were just so horribly executed in the movies. But then you bring in talented people like Pablo Hidalgo and Dave Filoni, and you get the greatest Star Wars television series ever in the Clone Wars.
The fucking Clone Wars is spectacular and just amazing. And the fact that Rebels was made by the same people makes me sad.
Not a fan.
Because Rebels is a piece of shit, okay?
Oh, no.
The animation style is horrible, the lightsabers look stupid, and the writing and the characters are just utterly awful. It feels like they're doing a Firefly report rather than telling a story about these brave rebels forging their alliance against insurmountable odds. Like, seriously, there is so little in terms of real storytelling in Rebels that you can watch 3 episodes for a whole season and understand what's going on. It's becoming the Star Wars equivalent of The Walking Dead.
Yes! That's exactly what I was going to say! Yes! Oh, don't get me started on that and The Walking Dead. It's like, no, if they stretched it so damn thin, you can almost feel like Disney going, we're going to make this last as long as we want. You know, because the Clone Wars went on 6 seasons, but it had a metric, space ton load of characters and things that they were exploring, different planets and battles, because basically what Clone Wars did is it unpackaged all of the ideas from the prequel movies and then made them good and successful. And then it also started canonizing a lot of the EU in a more formalized, like, better way. Oh, gosh.
Like, the Clone Wars had the advantage of the fact that it could have these long seasons with these long story arcs because, like, especially in the later seasons where each story arc was maybe 4 episodes a piece. So each story arc lasted just long enough for you to enjoy it, but it never really outstayed its welcome. And you could then jump, you could jump from Jar Jar Binks being mistaken for a Jedi and having to survive on his own for an episode, which was surprisingly funny to watch, all the way to, the fucking politics. They made politics interesting, and oh my god, Duchess Satine.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see so much more of Duchess Satine and Obi-Wan. Oh my gosh.
Like, that moment where she said, where Obi-Wan's like, if you had asked me, I would have left the Jedi Order for you.
Damn it, Obi-Wan, you stupid idiot. How could you not hit that? That's Mandalorian gold right there.
And then, honestly, the only reason, and I've heard this theory before, like, where people are like, hey, what if Rey is a Kenobi, blah, 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 blah. The only reason that I would support that theory is because it means that we get to see more of Obi-Wan and Satine.
That is my biggest hope for Star Wars in, like, the what is it, the spin-off, the anthropology movies. I want to see an Obi-Wan movie cover the entire arc with Duchess Satine. I want to see how that starts, all of the explicit details in the middle, and then we know how it ends. But, the movie version of that.
Like, you know what I would like? I'd like one on the fucking Mandalorian War.
Yes, that would be a great movie. That could be a whole trilogy.
Exactly, because then they'd have a chance to canonize Darth Revan and Darth Malak. Although
yes,
it's Mandalorian, they're not Sith yet, but we could get Revan and Malak. We could get the Old Republic stuff. We can get all those great characters. And also, the Mandalorian Wars would be awesome to watch.
See, this is what at least the Marvel side of Disney is learning in general. It's like, the reason these old things or the old characters were successful to the degree they were is because they were built on some kind of intelligent conception of writing and character design. So it's like, yes, if they can recover it, if they can reinvent it into their own, the new Star Wars super anthology or whatever, that would be really clever and interesting, rather than just copy-pastaing frickin' Star Wars A New Hope and then calling it a new movie.
So I have a bit of what might be an unpopular opinion. It's probably a controversial opinion, but I'm going to say it anyway because fuck all of you. I think, and this is based on things like the Clone Wars TV series, this is based on the books, this is based on fucking the original Knights of the Old Republic game, one of the best RPGs of all time.
Yes.
That movies is actually the movie format is the worst place for Star Wars.
I agree, absolutely.
Oh my god. Okay, I thought I was gonna have to fight you on this.
No. I totally agree. The Star Wars movies, they are interesting in their own ways, but no, the Star Wars level of depth and detail and world building really serves much better in a television capacity.
Exactly.
Or video games, something very deep and like that's what they tried to do with the not RPG, the MMO, the Old Republic, is basically Star Wars needs a Mass Effect kind of format to really fill itself out. And while I never played the Old Republic, it sounds like that's what they tried to do for the most part.
Kind of. Like, the Old Republic would have worked a lot better as a single-player game because of the grinding and the MMO's start design and the way that quests are spaced away from each other fucks the pacing so hard. I mean, it's a great game.
Here's a great analogy. I want a Fallout-type game, but it's Star Wars. Yeah. That would be perfect.
You're not the only person who said that to me. I had one friend who was like, you know what, I'd love Bethesda to do fucking an open-world Star Wars game with multiple planets set at any point in the Star Wars timeline.
Oh, that'd be good.
Oh, man. That would be so awesome.
Yeah. You can go further, because obviously Fallout's just real-world-ish. But I mean, Star Wars, you can go fucking anywhere.
I mean, I already use a lightsaber in the Fallout games, so...
But it would be so absolutely perfect. Because that's the thing, is that I still feel like, first off, combat is so very rarely done right. We had the Jedi Knight games, which gave us live lightsaber combat, and there was the Force Unleashed, which I really, really, really despise number 2 and most of
everyone despises number 2. Yes.
Yeah, but I hate number 1.
Yeah, it's not the best.
I've heard so many people talking about what a great character Starkiller is.
No.
And a fridge down their mouths. They're wrong. They're objectively
I enjoyed the
wrong.
gameplay. Like, I did enjoy just slashing shit, using your abilities. I do agree the Starkiller was a little bit Kylo Ren-ish kind of thing. And also, I mean, obviously, I assume it is, like, proper canon now, but, like, I just didn't feel like it.
Oh, no. Disney threw the fuck out the all of that stuff, yeah.
Oh, right, good, yeah.
The problem is that Starkiller is so one-dimensional, he makes Kylo Ren look like Walter White.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. But I mean, at the same time, it's meant to just be used as a, getting the player involved kind of thing, rather than I should probably put a footnote here. We do actually like things. We don't just hate everything.
I hate everything.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. No, it's like this is the first rule of the internet, is that you only pick apart the things you genuinely love, because the things that you don't like whatsoever, it's like how the opposite of hate, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Like, if you really don't care about something, it would literally exit your mind and it would never register for you. That's like why all the brony haters are secretly probably brony tendency kind of people in the first place, because it's like you can only use the excuse that you're going on these things to, dwell in the cringe or whatever so long before it's like, you're enjoying these horses quite a bit more than you let on.
Yeah. Or I mean, they're probably just lonely as well. I mean, to just sort of, because it is a community in like brony fandom, so they're probably just turning up like, oh my god, there's actually people who are nice to each other. Oh, fuck off! Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, their way of talking. I don't know.
We're sometimes nice to each other.
Yeah. When we're not on a podcast, everyone's nice.
Yeah. No. Podcast is pretty bad.
I'm just glad we could get all three of us together for this, because I'm actually surprised Vermont and I sustained for 2 hours for the last podcast.
Well, I mean, it was more like an hour, but yes, no, God, we managed to hold it through for... Good Lord, we managed to hold it through just with the two of us, and we were pretty tired at the time.
Yeah.
And now you have me, the best member of the studio.
Yay!
I don't actually think that. Don't put me on record for that, everyone.
Oh, it's too late.
Oh no, we're gonna put you
on his headstone.
Yeah.
On your pink slip.
We're gonna increase your volume.
I mean, I always think that's weird. It's like obviously like joining studios and shit, but we're all really young, and it's like we've got to be, old men at some point, and just be like, oh, Granddad, what did you do when you were young? Like, oh, I fucked around with a bunch of people and made horses talk. Like, I think it's a strange thing. It comes naturally when you're in it, but like to actually explain it and just be like, yeah, that's what I did at 20-ish.
No, that's why I'm
Whatever.
leveling or leveraging all of this into normal creative pursuits, which is like, writing normal sci-fi novels and such. And but it's like it's a pre-made community that you can have feedback and good results and everything. Like that's really special. It's very uniquely online, Brony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I test out a lot of ideas and things with my MLP work. Although, to be honest, the pony work does still get pretty good. It's just really, really rewarding on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're only doing it because you enjoy the work. It's not because you've got a paycheck and you want to make it up the ranks to get more paychecks in a company car or something. Like you're literally doing it because you like the work, and that's it.
We do not. Yeah, exactly. We do not get paid shit for working in East Corp.
It's all in a private trust that'll pay out after the war, so to speak.
Yeah. If only.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure we lose money working at East Corp.
That's yes. Yeah, actually, yeah. Like if any of us actually invested anything to help do work for it, we've now lost money. Fuck. That's weird. Actually, yeah, like I'm looking at actually, yeah, no, fuck, no, I bought a drum sample library or whatever, which was like 80 quid. So I'm now down 80 quid because of you guys making me lose money. So sad.
Oh, gee, I'm so sorry, James.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'll make up the money because this is our investors are actually paying us. Yeah. Secret.
We have no investors, James.
Faraway worlds.
Yeah, it's it's fun times to be had by all, for sure.
All right. I think we may have to call it.
I think so. I'm getting hungry for lunch myself.
I'm ready to climb.
I'm getting hungry to go the fuck to sleep.
Well, we're going to see if any of this recorded at all, and if it did, then I'll upload it to YouTube channel and all that other stuff.
Sweet.
If it didn't record, I am going to be mad because I'm going to be mad if it didn't record.
And no one will hear me say that everyone listening are awesome and the best people. So, you listen out. They didn't get recorded.
Yeah, so this will be the end of Schrodinger's podcast.
Tune in next time.